Hi everybody, this is John from Old John's Vlogs, and I'm going to make a small film about cutting down the anemones, the Japanese anemones that is. This one already been done. I've staked it down. You can see all the things that I've cut back are inside the things where it gives it stability as it grows. And this particular one, you'll probably see there's a bit of sticky tape on it, and but I am going, don't worry, I'm going to take that off. It was just an example to show you two different methods of holding it in place, although it's quite rigid there at the moment, but I will be putting tie wraps on later. But I just wanted to show you the difference between the one I've done and the one I'm going to do. You see it's fairly stable, and also you can see that there's lots of soil around the base of the plant, and that's because nothing can grow under there because the foliage is so thick. And on the top there you can see that there is a plastic stopper on top, so that if I'm bending in the summertime, I don't bang my glasses on it or someone else doesn't hit themselves in the eyes. They're only a few pence, well worth having. Unfortunately the supports at the bottom are not as strong as the support at the top. I just couldn't get the larger ones to be as strong as I wanted them to be. But maybe another time I'll do that. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, this is just a video to show you, or anybody that's not cut, excuse me, I've not cut these back before, how easy it is to do, and just taking simple measures to make sure that it'll be fine for next year. So this is the one that we're going to have a look at today, and we're going to cut it back, and you can see that there's dead leaves on there. The frost, they die off when the frost comes. Usually where I live, the second week in October, and these have been probably growing from June to July right through, and flowered to the first week in October, and they don't need anything doing to them really, apart from maybe they could have done with another stake out higher up, so we just add a little bit of string and hide the string. Well, here you can see that I've already made a start from the right. I've cut it down, and you can see there's a little pile here at the side. I wanted to show you this as a comparison really, and that just, I would say, when you see this pile eventually, I would say that's just maybe, I don't know, a quarter of what's going to be. So there'll be quite a lot when I've finished. At the bottom of the Japanese anemone, there's a lot of dead wood. Now I can't honestly remember if I took the dead wood out last year or if I just left it to its own devices. But this year it's coming out. I could mulch it if I wanted to, but I don't think I'll bother. I think I'll just see what happens. And here you can see the finished job. It's you can see how wide the soil is covered by the foliage. It takes quite a lot of room up. Doesn't need any attention unless it's too dry, but if it is too dry, please don't water the leaves, water the roots, because you'll burn the leaves. So here's the end product of the pile I was telling you about that's come off that anemone, and I'll show you a better angle of that later, because it shows you that there's a lot more than it looks there. That will take up half of the green bin space, so I am going to cut it down, and I will show you the excuse me, I will show you the version that's been cut down. Now I took this off the supports to show you that it needs repairing this time, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Still got the camera in one hand at this stage instead of the tripod, but yeah, there you can see it's come unfastened, and that's simply because we've had gale force from the winds and it's just unfastened or unfurled itself, but they'll be nipped together using these pliers. You can also see that I've got gloves on for two reasons. Oh, here's the finished product. Why there's not 4 stake downs on that is beyond me. I would have thought the manufacturers would have put 4 on, but there's only 3 legs. Now there's going to be some tie wraps going on these, and I'll show you those in a second. But these are ideal for the oh my goodness, the Japanese anemone being supported. You can't see them. Now these tie wraps are a little bit special. When they come into camera, you can see they've got a clip. They're not expensive, and when you buy the pack, you buy all different sorts. Now what the clip does is it releases, and so you can use those tie wraps time and time again. Unfortunately, they're too big for the job that we want, and I'm having to resort to use these small ones, which you can only use once. But I will cut the excess off, and the excess will go in the appropriate council bin. And you can see it's very stable now with the tie wraps on. I did mention the gloves earlier. I draw and paint, so I don't want acid from the garden or the plants, so I wear gloves to keep my hands clean and warm, of course. Now this is the other angle of the pile I told you about, and I will cut most of that down to about 4 inches in length. I'm sorry if I'm using the old-fashioned measurement, but I'm an old man and that's what I've always used. So eventually that pile will be only a small fraction of what it is now when I've cut the pieces off. Cut the pieces up. That's the end product. Nice and stable. No weeds will grow at the bottom. Nothing to do now until June, and then just shove some of those shoots inside the circles there, and it will grow up inside there, mainly self-supporting until it gets as high as the fence, and I may have to do a little bit more to it. Beautiful to look at. The butterflies love the flowers, and the bees, because the flowers open, bees like open flowers if they can get there, because they can get straight to the nectar rather than having to go into the flower. But it will go into some of the flowers that we have in the garden. We also get some different bees. We get masonry bees, which build a hole in the brickwork, and what's the other one called? The solitary bee, we get that. Anyway, back to the pile. You can see that there's a big space at the back of the pile, and you can now see that the pile is much smaller than it was before. I would say it took me about 15 minutes to cut that up, and that's probably the biggest piece. The rest of it is probably half that size. So good size, about 4 inches. And that will go in the bin and take no room at all. Now, I am cutting other things down. There's lots more foliage to get cut, and I've only 2 more bin collections this year. So that's the reason I cut everything down small, so I can get as much in the bin as possible, and it's not heavy for the men to cart and take away. I also thank the men when they come, because I think they do a wonderful job for us. In fact, I saw a young lady today for the first time on the bins, and so it's a job that many people expect to be done for them by right. Me, I've travelled about and I've seen what other people have to do and put up with, and I really appreciate the bin collection maintain. Now this is what I use to clip all that foliage down. It's got a double click. The first click clicks into the cutting, and the second click snaps it off. But you have to clean that out every time, that groove. And the reason I like these is that they are easy on my wrist, because I'm getting old. I'm not as strong as I used to be, so my life now is surrounded by things that I can carry on doing, but making life easier as I go through my aging process. But yeah, get that clean as it will go, and then it will lock close for the winter. I use one of these dry sharpening stones, and I put it at a 45-degree angle and rub it along there 3 to 6 times, usually 3 times either side. And the thing is, it will be very sharp when it's done. So you must get that groove cleaned out so you can lock these in place over the winter. The last thing I want to do in the shade, particularly if it's dark, is to be fumbling around in a drawer and one of these things cutting you. But at the same time, you need the edges to be sharp so that you can cut down without causing any duress. Well, I think more or less that's it now. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it goes uploads this time, and I have tried several times to upload it, and lots of things have gone wrong. I've abandoned the new editing suite that I've had for about 4 months, and I bought a new one and I'm trying it out on that today. So if you've enjoyed this video, let me know your comment, put your comments in what more you'd like to see, and if you've liked it, please click on the like button and the subscribe button. It's free, it's only a hobby to me, so that's it. Bye.